When I got there, he wrapped his arms around me, picked me up, and squeezed me so hard for the longest time. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In case you're new here, my name is Kim. This is Core Union. Happy Saturday. Got a little allergies happening, but I wanted to share some inspiration from one of my clients. We just met recently, and I thought for sure that I had already created this video. So, anyway, I'm going to read the email that she sent me with the progress that she's having with her mirror soul. She's in the unfolding of it. It's not her end yet, but I know that there will be something in today's video that will help you understand the importance of going to the end, living from the end, living your life, doing things that you love doing, and also seeing the highest and best in your mirror soul as well. And then allowing things to unfold. The unfolding is the unfolding, it's just the middle. So just uh, allow yourself to consistently continue to do the inner work, living from the end. As it unfolds, just be thankful for it and be grateful for it. I understand when you're first awakening and learning about this that you might continue to be double minded. I understand that this can be very confusing, but when you keep your awareness and attention, like you're assigning negative meaning to the communication that you are having, and you're consistently seeing things from the lens of not being important, not being prioritized, not being chosen. And then every time you have these interactions, you keep framing and assigning negative meaning just to keep reinforcing your old identity and your old story. This is an example where some people might be getting stuck in the loop of their old story. And if you continue to stay aware of that, then your awareness is so powerful. So your awareness is keeping you in that identity and in that experience. And this can be very painful. So, what I highly suggest is that you be more consistent, learn how to reframe and revise things as they happen, stay loving yourself, valuing yourself, seeing the best in yourself, seeing the best in your person. Forgive them when you're, starting to feel angry or resentful. But if you continue to stay aware of it, and then even worse, reinforce that old story and old identity through commenting consistently, you think that that's harmless, but that's actually an example of reinforcing the old identity. I don't want you to give up on your true love, on your mirror soul, but you can't consistently dwell and ruminate on the old story, because if you do that, you're staying in the old identity. So let me read this before I do. If you do love my content, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow. And if you want me to be your coach to help you manifest anything related to your true love, mirror soul, specific person, deep soul connection, email a short description to kim@coreunion.com. Go to my website, coreunion.com, place the order for either a single session or a package, and then my scheduling assistant, Olga, will get back to you with my next available session. So this is really adorable. Hi, Kim. I wanted to share an update before our session, and feel free to share this with your followers. Since our last session, I had mentioned that we were talking, her and her mirror soul, that we were talking more, and that I was helping him with the whole dating page debacle. Something happened with him on a dating app, and I don't know exactly what that was. Well, as you told me to do, I started to feel and imagine him as healed, secure, and everything else. More than anything, I really wanted him to be healed. So as the weeks went on, he would call and we would talk, and we would just be on the phone and work on our own thing. I was very busy, but it was so cute. And we would occasionally talk about the website thing because he was still trying to get the post down. But I noticed that he would open up to me more and more and become vulnerable with me. At some point, there was a little silence, which honestly didn't bother me because I was so absorbed in my own work and life. And that alone helped me stay focused on our end together because she was really getting absorbed in her interests. She's doing things related to filming and things like that. So it gave me confidence to have faith in other aspects of my life. And I think because of that, he felt my energy. He started to text me just to see what I was up to. He told me he was in a funk lately and he didn't know why. And that's why he was a little silent. But we started texting, bantering, and he made a joke then that he felt the need to apologize. He likes to tease me, but I actually like it. I told him he knows me and that I would never get offended, and I told him not to change. And he replied, "My girl." And then one night he just texted me out of the blue and asked if I was still awake. I said yes, and asked if everything was okay. And he said, "You care," with an emoji with the big eyes. And I said, "Of course I care." Then he called me and we just talked about work, school, and everything in between. And then I brought up that the college wrestling preliminaries were coming up, something that we used to watch together. And he said, "Thanks for reminding me," and that he was going to watch it. I was a little bummed that he didn't ask to watch it with me because he'd been saying how we need to catch up and even asked for my schedule, but never followed through. I thought this would be the moment he would invite me to hang out, but he didn't. So, as nervous as I was, I said, "Why aren't we watching it together?" And he said, "Oh, you want to watch it together? We can do that." And I said, "Yes, it'll be fun." He then mentioned that he had a date that day before the tournament. So I said, "Never mind." But he said, "Let me see if I can reschedule it." I could tell in his voice that he was a little nervous about me coming over, mirroring my wavering. But it wasn't a no. He said that he was tired of dating and he was going to do the date because he felt bad for canceling. I said, "Okay, but by the way, I revised that part on the spot about him having a date." Saturday night, I was a little nervous that I hadn't heard from him, so I took some time to ground myself and focus on my work. Then I decided to text him and ask if we were still on. He said, "Let's do it." This was a visualization I visited over and over for the past year, imagining being in his apartment on his couch watching the tournament. When I got there, he wrapped his arms around me, picked me up, and squeezed me so hard for the longest time. We had lunch and watched the tournament together, and there was a lot of bantering. He also pointed to his couch pillows and said he had a job for me the next time so she could fix his pillows. While we were eating, he told me he canceled the date to watch the tournament with me, and that made me feel chosen. He was a little distracted while we were watching, and I recognized that was a pattern of his when he was anxious in the past. He later apologized to me and said that he wishes he was in a happier state, seeing me for the first time in a year, and it was actually almost a year and a half. And he told me about how dating has really messed with his mental state and he hasn't done anything or gone out except to go to work. But he tried his best to be present with me. It got late, so I got ready to head home, but he said, "No, no, no, we're going to the gym." So I was on board, especially since I didn't go earlier in the day. I remember in the past, whenever he wanted to continue to hang out with me, I always had the subconscious feeling of, I can't believe he wants to hang out with me, which mirrored my unworthiness. This time I caught myself almost thinking that, but watched it drift away. Working out together was so cute. He would walk by me and smile, and sometimes point when we were listening to each other's music. When we got back to his apartment, we had a short moment of intimacy because he said my booty looked good. I've been affirming that he's attracted to me. But we had to stop because both of us were really hungry and lightheaded. As we're eating more food, he says, "You and I have spent a lot of time together in the past, and I realized you're the only one that really understands me." Is it that you're an empath, or do you really truly understand me? How do you understand me so well? I said, "I just have the privilege of understanding you." That's so sweet. And he replied, just from that response, it reminds me how kind you are. And he continued to say that our connection means a lot to him, and he didn't want to ruin it with sex and us getting hurt. And I said, we're adults, and that wouldn't happen to us. Then he walked me to the train station in Times Square, and he wrapped me in his arms again so tight and held me for at least 2 minutes. I had gone over a moment like this where he hugged me for a long time over and over in my imagination. We both said thank you for hanging out. And then I said, you can talk to me anytime because I know he doesn't open up to anyone. And he said softly in my ear, I appreciate you so much. You have no idea how much. He was still hugging me at this point, and then he gave me a kiss on the cheek, and we parted ways. The next few days, I felt grounded and happy. I didn't feel my ego try to push back, and I just stayed in the feeling of us being together. I also felt for the first time being able to focus on me and having confidence that we were secure and safe and not needing to not needing to micromanage or stress about silence. Thank you, Kim, for helping me see my worth and for knowing that I'm always chosen no matter what it is that I want in my life. For anyone manifesting their SP, it is so important to do the work that Kim gives you, no matter how hard it is. Some days it feels mundane or like it's not working until that one day the shift happens within you, knowing, within your knowing, and then you realize it was all worth it. Even when I didn't have time in the morning and I was late for my class, I made sure I did my routine before the day ended. And like Kim always says, you don't have to be perfect. Even when I had doubts, my inner world was still shifting, and the 3D never failed to show the shift in me. Thank you, Kim, and I'm looking forward to our next session. And thank you so much. So, based off of this, what I just read to you who's watching, this is why I don't want you to give up on your true love, but you want to do something consistently so you can become more aware of your power, of loving yourself, of choosing yourself, of cherishing yourself, of knowing your value and worth. Obviously, if you are chosen and secure and in a happy relationship, you would be doing things that you enjoy doing. It gave her more confidence, it shifted her energy. And then after a year and 5 months or a year and a half, she was able to spend time with her mirror soul for the first time in a very long time. And she obviously got a lot of evidence that he deeply, deeply cares about her, that she's the only one in his mind, in his eyes, she's so special. And it's also a beautiful expression of the love being so pure. Okay. So please affirm down below. I trust and I know and understand that everyone in my reality is one with me, and all of my divine messengers choose me and prioritize me, especially my mirror soul. I love you so much. Have an amazing day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.